as soon as I said, oh, wait, let me get this, and then you guys get what are you in? Right?
I am. I'm in the Dolphins media workroom. Some of the TV guys are here. Chris Perkins is here.
Back there. I see David Silver back there. Ask David if he's worried about his Chiefs without Chris Jones and Kelsey. Is he nervous about them Lions?
David, are you worried about the Chiefs? Are you worried about the Chiefs? They want to know if you're worried about the Chiefs.
Am I worried, David?
Yes, I am.
He's very worried about the Chiefs.
Not panicked, but a little concerned.
And by the way, that's a real fucking Chiefs fan back there, okay? I just want you guys to know that. That guy's been a Chiefs fan forever. I've known him for 30 freaking years. He's been in the business longer than that, but he's a real Chiefs fan. Just want you guys to know that ain't no bandwagon back there, right?
I'm so happy that it's here. I'm so happy that it's here. The season is finally here.
No, bro. We get to talk about actual football. Jesus Christ, man. You know? So I'm looking forward. You know, I've been telling the guys this is a week for Mike McDaniel. You know, because Mike McDaniel that he has to kind of, you know, as a rookie coach, you got to correct some things, right? And I think he's going to dedicate himself more to running the ball, right? And then one of the things that he has to do better, Joe, he has to do better against his contemporaries. He lost every game against his contemporaries except one because he split the games against the Jets. But against his former coworkers, he struggled. And Mr. Stanley did a number on him last year. So the mind games is very important here for Mike McDaniel, especially in week one. Nice test for him to see how he bounces back.
Last year, the Chargers took away the quick passing game. They forced Tua Tagovailoa to throw deep passes, particularly outside the hash marks. That is not Tua's strength. That is not a Tua criticism. That is the Tua truth. He is better at short and intermediate passes in the middle of the field. So how will the Dolphins adjust, knowing to what the Chargers tried to take away? Will you see more screens? Probably. Will you see some end arounds and reverses? Probably. Will you see more runs? Probably. Keep in mind, the Chargers have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack going against Austin Jackson and a probably not fully healthy Teron Armstead. So that creates an additional problem, which is the pass rush. And we know that Tua feels that he's better prepared to take care of himself. But how much time will he have to get the ball downfield to likes of Tyreek Hill? I think you're absolutely right. I think it's going to be fascinating to see the adjustments that Mike McDaniel makes. And it should be helpful that the man who was the Chargers defensive coordinator last year, Ronaldo Hill, has been hired by the Dolphins. Now, of course, we know it's the Brandon Staley defense. We don't get a chance to talk to Ronaldo Hill this week. But we can be certain that Ronaldo Hill has given Mike McDaniel every tip possible about the Chargers defense.
Yeah, no, he should at least. And again, the other thing is I expect a heavy dosage of running because they struggled against the run. They've made some changes on defense at linebacker and defensive tackle. But still, this is a team that was really, what was it? I wrote it down yesterday. They were 27th in allowing 144 yards per game. They were allowing 162 yards per game on the ground in the last 3 games. Miami, by the way, allowed 103 yards on average last year on the ground, 73 yards in their last 3 games. So Miami got better against the run towards the end of the season. The Chargers got worse against the run. And I think that's why they kept 5 running backs, not so much the injury. I think they plan on running more, and that's why they kept the
Dolphins are going to run. Dolphins are going to run. Chris Brooks, your favorite player, switches from 33 to 35. Eli Apple chooses not to go the single-digit route, sticks with 33. The new guy, Kelvin Joseph, takes Noah Igbenogany's 9. Robbie Chosen regains his number 3. Fans are very interested in the numbers. Cam Smith, by the way, you can order the Cam Smith jersey. He decided, after consulting with me, which was always a good move, he decided to keep the 24. I told him about a guy named Sean Smith, who he was not familiar with. And I was a Sean Smith guy. I thought he was a good player. and I like the way he looked in that number 24. So Dolphins to run the ball more in last time, and Chargers to throw the ball. They're going to try to win the game through the air. Herbert went for more than 300 in the last meeting. We do not know if Eli Apple or Cam Smith is going to play more reps, but we know that neither of those players is Jalen Ramsey.
But by the way, he didn't score a lot. While he threw yards, he didn't score a lot. So considering how injured they were and all that stuff, they really limited those yards to, in points, that is. So that's a good thing. I wouldn't be that fearful of that they're trying to, pass their way out of this.
Did you see Stephen A. Smith said
I would expect him to do that because I don't think Austin Eckler is going to dominate the Dolphins on the D line. You know what I'm saying?
Did you see that Stephen A. Smith called Tua miniature and said that the Dolphins made a mistake? Shannon Sharp said
my problem. Here's my problem with that, Joe. I have zero respect for Stephen A. Smith's IQ when it comes to football.
Well, Shannon Sharp said that he thinks Tua will outplay Herbert, but he thinks that Tua is motivated to prove essentially that the Dolphins made the right choice. When I asked Tua about this last year, he admitted that, yes, he understands that he will forever be intertwined with Justin Herbert. Does that mean that he's motivated to outduel Justin Herbert? You think yes. Okay. Interesting.
Joe, how many times we're going to talk about this? He keeps receipts, bro. I've been telling.
So does Deion Sanders. You
you
didn't like Deion Sanders going after that nice old guy, older man, Ed Werder, did you?
By the way, that was kind of phony because Ed Werder he hasn't written a story in years. He didn't write shit about Deion.
It must go back to their Cowboys days.
Yeah, that's what it was, because Deion's full of crap on that one, because Ed Werder never wrote a word about Colorado. So he was just there. So there must be some beef between those two from the Dallas days or something like that, because he just used them as and I get it. It was great for him. It was great PR because he has a lot of people that were doubting him. So I'm glad he did that in that sense. But poor Ed, bro, he was throwing the mix and did nothing whatsoever. Bro. And by the way, it's not Ed's job to believe or not believe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's not a good idea to personally attack a reporter. Deion should be smart enough to know that. He's a savvy guy. He should know he's not going to win that one.
Yeah.
He can go on a rant about how no one in general believed in him and the players. But when you make it personal, you lose that battle.
Yeah, you lose that battle. And now the story gets out like Ed never wrote a word. So it's like, yo, dude, you're lying to people that you read his stuff when he never wrote anything, bro. So what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's not good. And plus, Ed Werder's a very respected person.
Yeah, he's a nice man. I think that the majority of college football fans were pulling for the Buffs on Saturday. What do you think of that?
Well, I was pulling for Deion from the get-go because I believe Deion. Deion's always been the guy that walks the walk, bro. And whatever he talks, he walks. He's always been that guy.
But do you think he goes a little too far with the personality sometimes?
But that's Deion. That's the bravado he's always had. That's who he's been. You know what I mean?
You need to be different to win in Colorado. You need to do something differently.
Right. And you know what, Joe? If you can back it up, then you're fine. If you're Rex Ryan and you don't back it up, then that's when you fall flat on your face. So as long as you continue to back it up, then eventually the people that hate the bravado will adjust and say, well, hey, man, the guy is talking the talk and he's walking the walk. You can't say anything.
It is just one game, though. What is he going to do when they get punched in the mouth, which will happen at some point?
Yeah, but it was one
USC or I get it.
It was a hell of a game, bro. Hell of a game. And
we can't have it both ways. I don't love it when guys are very boring, very vanilla, tell you nothing. So I prefer certainly the Deion approach.
You want flow or you want Deion?
So that's the opposite of Deion Sanders, Brian Flores.
All right. So what freaking mind games is Mike McDaniel playing?
Left guard.
Yeah. What the hell is going on? Who's starting? Who's on first?
So I asked him.
I asked him. Third. What's going on?
Mike McDaniel tells us everything except who's the left guard. Now, there's probably a reason for this. McDaniel is not huge on like competitive advantage, keeping secrets, but he might actually not want the Chargers to know who the left guard is. That's possible. The other thing is, just because Liam Eichenberg is first team on the media notes depth chart doesn't mean that the Dolphins have decided he's starting. In fact, I think it's just as likely, if not more likely, that Isaiah Wynn is actually the starter.
I guarantee you he's the starter.
I think that the depth chart should be an accurate reflection of a team's depth. That's my hot take of the day. So I prefer to see it be accurate, but the NFL requires teams to provide accurate injury updates. They do not require them to provide accurate depth charts. That's unless there's some rule I don't know of.
No, yeah, they don't. By the way, somebody's dying back there. Give that man
Chris,
water.
No, I'm not.
Big O would like you to have some water.
Yeah.
Chris
Jesus
Perk.
Christ. The
Me,
Perk
Chris
man.
Perk. Yeah.
Yeah, get him some water. That poor man's choking back there. Jesus
Me
Christ.
and Chris Perkins are going to hang out in Marina Del Rey on Friday.
Yeah, your plane can't be filled with crap. That's all I got to say.
Do you think Perk and I should wear the masks or no mask on the plane? What do you think?
I think you should have masks just in case somebody shits all over the plane.
in case Perk is next to me coughing.
In case turds happen, use masks. So that's what I would do. I would take the mask.
It's hard to believe that explosive diarrhea would ground the plane, but it did happen. It's a true story.
Did you see the pictures?
No,
the video?
No, I don't want to see the pictures.
It was all over the plane. It was up and down. The guy couldn't hold it. He was crop dusting the entire plane. Literally. There was brown all over the plane. Maybe UPS was the sponsor of it. What can Brown do?
Was it Wyoming Brown or Cleveland Brown?
No, it was UPS Brown. Okay, because he delivered. That's for damn sure. All right, so what happens at left tackle? Is it today when you go out of practice, you need to see Teron Armstead just standing out there at left tackle and say, oh, okay, so he's there. So what's the deal?
I mean, as long as he's got 10 toes and 2 legs and 2 ankles, I expect Teron Armstead to play. It would be very surprising if he did not play. Now, let's just say he goes out there and something happens. He tweaks it. He can't go more than a series or two. He says, I can't. Bosa beats him twice with spin moves. All right. Now, Kendall Lamb is okay. All right. He's better than, Sam Young. And I like Sam. He's a local guy at Coral Springs. But you get my point.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Right,
better than Julian Davenport.
I've been impressed
guys,
with
what do you
Kendall.
got? Any other struggling left tackles? What do you got?
Ogabuchi or whatever?
Cedric Abwehi. Kendall Lamb is better than him. Come on, give me some more. Backup left tackles who have struggled. Billy Turner.
Yeah. Although he did better when he left here, actually.
Yeah, no, I know.
All right, so any other injuries we should be concerned about?
No, I mean, Waddle looked good running around when I saw him on Monday. A-Chain looked good running around. Cam Smith looks good running around. Let me ask you, Big O.
4 backs, so they're more than 5.
Who do you want to play more snaps? It's your decision, your call. You are legendary meatball-making Vic Fangio. All right? Who gets more snaps, Eli Apple or Cam Smith? Sunday.
Cam Smith.
Okay.
I'm playing
now,
Cam.
Vic said he doesn't trust him in so many words. And in the last preseason game, he gave up the touchdown. That's got to hurt his cause.
Yeah, no, of course. But he's young. He's supposed to make mistakes. How in the hell are you going to learn? You know what I'm saying? And I think also it depends on the situation. If it calls more for a zone, I think Eli might be in there. If it calls more for a man type of situation, Cam might be in there. So it all depends. It's kind of funny. You don't trust Cam because he lacks experience. But can you really trust Eli Apple?
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I mean, he's the guy who's going to make 7 really good plays and then 2 really bad ones. No doubt.
Right.
That's the track record throughout his career. This is a tough call. This is a tough decision. I think that because Fangio is an old school guy, and because he's going up against Mike Williams and Keenan, how do you say it? Keenan Allen, right?
McCardell. No,
I'm sorry.
Keenan Allen. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Keenan.
Okay. I think that because of those matchups, I think he's more likely to go with the veteran early on, and then he could always switch to Cam Smith. If you go to Cam Smith and he gets burned for 2 touchdowns in the first half, now you got to pull him at halftime. You hurt his confidence. I'd probably go with Apple, even though I think by game 4, 5, 6, Cam is your starter.
Yeah, either way, I would imagine there's this safety called Javon Holland who's probably going to be babysitting that side of the field a little bit more than the other side of the field with X. You know what I'm saying? So that I would tend to think that that's what's going to end up happening. What do you have? What's your prediction? You got them winning or losing this game?
Yeah, I don't know if I did a formal prediction yet. I think I picked something like 24-21 Dolphins, something like that. Dolphins by 3, Chargers to choke with the missed short field goal or I'm going to call a blocked field goal that would tie the game and force overtime. We're going to say, let's see, who's the top? Raekwon Davis blocks a 38-yard field goal.
Wow.
With less than 10 seconds to go, and the Dolphins win by 3.
Over and under on interceptions for Herbert. 1 over and under.
How many more Herbert interceptions or Connor Williams bad snaps?
That's a good one. The number is 1 interceptions over or under for Justin Herbert.
1 is right. I would leave that alone because he's going to throw it 45, 50 times. So he's going to put it up in the air a lot, and you don't have Jalen Ramsey in there. If you had Ramsey in there, but you never know. Eli Apple is the kind of guy who takes chances. So if it's Apple and Howard, so you like the 2 interceptions. If you forced me to bet, I'd go over with the 2 picks.
Yeah, because I think they're going to throw a lot, and I think Jalen Phillips and boys are going to start the pressure game. I think Jalen's going to have a big day against the Chargers. I think he's going to pick up his first sack right away in the first game of the year.
Well, they have a good left tackle, right? Slater.
Yes, Slater. Yes, definitely a good left tackle. So but they've got 2 guys that should, and Chubb, by the way, Chubb should have a hell of a year this year.
I hope so.
He's got his coach. I mean, there's no reason for him not to have a good year this year, Joe. None whatsoever.
Yeah. There should be a lot of cleanup sacks. It doesn't even have to just be I beat my guy and sacked. There should be a lot of cleanup sacks this year and a few for Wilkins too, because he needs to increase the sack total to get paid.
Dougie Fresh has a question for you. Thinking of all the coaches you have seen in their second year, do you think that success is dependent on the attitude of the team buying in or not buying in after 1 year?
I think a little bit is made too much about momentum. The Dolphins lost. They were 8-3, and they finished 9-9. So that means that they've lost 6 of this last 7 times they've played. But we don't make too big a deal about that because there are so many factors, notably Tua's injury, of course.
Injury. Secondary, having that injured secondary ruined that entire defense.
I think the players respect that McDaniel admits like when he should have done something differently. Like he says, you know what? I'm sorry, Rheaume. We should have run it more. He says, you know what? You guys are right. You're right, Joe Schad. I should hire a replay review expert. And he does. So I'm glad Mike listens and reads. I'm sure he reads all my stories on the Palm Beach Post website.
Mike, you could tell is like an intelligent person that you can reason.
Oh, yeah. And he's humble and he's,
Sometimes we've had the coaches that you can't reason with, that they're just dead set on doing it their way. And it doesn't matter what it is. They're going to do it their way and they're going to go down in flames and they will not adjust. I give this guy credit. He will adjust. He will actually, self scout himself and say, I screwed up here. And who knows? Maybe it was one of his assistant coaches that said, Coach, we got to run more here. We had plenty of opportunities here and we left it on the table or whatever. It'd be interesting. You should ask McDaniel, what triggered him knowing that he should have run more? What was it? Was it him watching film? Was it an assistant coach? Was it somebody? What triggered that?
Yeah, I mean, they were fifth in the NFL in yards per rush over the last 9 weeks of the season. All you got to do is look at that number and be like, all right, we should have run more. So it might just be statistics.
Yeah. All right, what do you got going on in the Palm Beach Post so folks can check you out, dude?
I wrote an interesting story about all the musical talent in the Dolphins locker room. Kelvin Joseph, a.k.a. Boss Man Fat, is a talented rapper. Teron Armstead, a.k.a. T-Stead, is a talented rapper. He's got a song, B.O.A. Check it out. I linked to it in the story on the Palm Beach Post website. Teron's pretty good, and Kelvin's really good. And Duke Riley is smooth, man, so he is also a rapper. So read the story about the musical talents. Jalen Phillips is a producer and engineer who plays the guitar and the piano. So I can't remember being around a Dolphins locker room with this much musical talent. So check out the story.
Marlon Greenwood, he was going to blow up the sidelines, bro. What's wrong with you?
Syracuse.
Did you ever
Long
hear
Island.
Yeah. Did you ever hear that song of Marlon Greenwood blowing up the sidelines? That was kind of I have it somewhere. I don't know if I could find it, but it was kind of trippy. So wait, so are you saying we got to change the open? You are now impressed with Teron Armstead's swag?
Yeah, actually, I have listened to Teron Armstead's song BOA, which is about Bank of America, like 10 times. So type in Teron Armstead or T-Stead BOA. Okay. If you can get the clearance, you can play this the next time I come on, a little bit of that. I'm sure he'd be okay with you promoting.
YouTube will tag our ass, bro.
Even if it's
I don't know if it's copyright. I don't know if it's copyrighted already. I would imagine that T-Stead is already copywriting his stuff because he's a really smart and looks like a really organized dude. You know what I'm saying? So
if you get the artist's permission, you can play at 30 seconds or 15 seconds?
Not just the artist, but we have to get it approved through YouTube. It's a real pain in the ass. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. We're screwed.
Well, you guys listen to T-Stead's BOA and tag me on the former Twitter.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter as Schad Joe. Joe, as always, thank you, my brother. Get Perk some water. We'll catch up next week. Safe travels. Right. You got it. There you go. The great Joe Schad and our essential moving experts, Miami Dolphins Exchange. Don't forget, folks, flat rates, no surprise charges from our friends at essentialmovingexperts.com. In fact, our guy Marcel was moving from Dade to Broward County, and he called Essential Moving Experts, and Sean and the great people took care of him. So please call them. They will take care of you. 386-213-4054.
This is the Big O